Fishing Matters is brought to you in part by Stinson's Fuels for all your fuel needs. Georgia Service Center, Eganville, the #1 tractor dealer in Canada. Welcome to Fishing Matters. I'm your host, Terry Haluka. For our first show, we're going to show you highlights of upcoming episodes and hope you enjoy them. One of the, I think, largest overlooked areas for fishing is fishing for walleye in the evening. A lot of times, what will happen is right at the prime bite, most of the anglers leave the water. You know, if your boat's not equipped with lights, there's a lot of places, you could go out, get yourself a portable stern light, bow lights. You'd be able to rig your boat, go out and enjoy a really nice evening fish.
Beautiful structure here, eh, Terry?
Oh, cover, we got weeds, we got rocks,
bay.
we've got, it's a really nice location, you know. When you're fishing two guys in the bow of a boat, do not leave your rod tip up front, because what happened there is
we heard a little snap.
We heard a little snap, and that was the end of my rod tip. Still there?
Yeah.
Nice little smallie.
Nice little smallie, Terry. Easy there, little fella.
Nice spot like this, a nice spot to bring your family out to have a good fish.
Let me tell you.
You know, get the kids involved. Kevin and I, a few weeks back, got a fishing lesson.
Did we ever?
From a pair of great anglers. My daughter Jess and your son Travis. And we had a big competition going. And you know what? The kids won.
There's one.
Oh, little acrobat.
A little scrapper. Oh.
Try to get the trolling motor over so you can get a shot of it.
He's got a little bit of, oh, he's just a little guy. Oh, I'm sorry, Terry. Little Mr. Bassy. Little Mr. Smallmouth there. Actually a good looking fish, clean, beautiful. You gotta like it here, eh? Gotta like it.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
What we're doing on today's show is we're fishing weed lines. So what happens here is the weed line comes out from shore, and then right on the edge of the weeds it drops to about 18-20 feet. So we're just hitting the pockets right on the edge and we're picking the fish off. They're having a lot of storms go through. It's really been unsettled weather and the fish have moved a bit deeper. And we're right in the middle of the weed bed. So one thing you can try when locating the edge of the weeds is get yourself some little marker buoys, Javex bottles with a string and a little bit of a weight, and mark your edge so that way you know where the edge is. And what will happen is the fish will stack up on the edge of the weeds, and they'll hold on the edge, and as your bait is presented in front of it, they'll come out of the weeds as an ambush point and pound it. The whole idea about fishing edges is pick up your percentages. Now, you want to try to fish inside weed edges, outside weed edges. And another thing to do is keep the sun. Right now the sun's right out in front of us, so it's casting a shadow out over the weeds and on the edge. And the fish will use the shadow again to their advantage. So they'll just sit and wait for a piece of bait fish to come by, and they'll pound it. What we're using today is we're using an 1/8 ounce jig head with a power bait tipped with a minnow, just to increase our odds. There we go. Whoa! There's nothing, pound for pound, there's nothing like catching a smallie. Oh, this fish is far from being tired. Easy, easy, easy fella, easy fella. Easy, that's a good fish. And would you believe another fish just come up and swam right beside while I'm there. Well, I'm just gonna move us around here so we don't drift off the edge. That fish was well hooked. There we go. Really nice smallie and a weed edge bass. That's a nice clean bass, a nice fight. And once again, we're up on the head pond and we're fishing weed lightens. And that's what it's all about, folks. Okay, Bob, why don't we touch base a little bit about selecting a rod and reel?
Well, the main differences in rods and reels is that the two main types that are used around here are spinning reels, which are your open face reels, your traditional reels, and the reels that are starting to come on now are the bait casting style. One of the reels that I have here is one of the older models that we have, and this has the magnetic system on it. Okay, it is the magnets in a reel are actually taking the place of the handles of the old bait casters that we had years ago. And what happens is something's got to offer resistance, because when you take and you disengage the spindle from the spool, what happens is that it just runs free. So what you have to do is you have to have some way of applying resistance to that spool so that it's not going to
give you the backlash
or professional overrun.
Okay.
So what happens is that, and this is with any bait caster, the higher the number that the indicator goes to, the closer something moves to something else to slow things down. Now, where people develop a lot of problems when they first pick one of these things up is that they don't know how to adjust them. And it's very, very simple to do. The first and most important knob that is on any one of these reels is this knob that is on the side that the handle's on.
Okay.
That's called the cast control knob. Now what that does, it takes and centers the spool and offers a certain amount of resistance to it. It centers everything and gets things going. And what you do is that and you have to do this for every lure that you put on, is that you take and you hit the release, and when you take the knob and turn it clockwise, what you're doing is tightening things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything and tighten it up so the lure is not going to go anywhere. And what you do is you turn the knob counterclockwise so that the lure that you're using, in this particular case I'm using a worm with a worm weight on it, so that it is a controlled fall down to the water or to the floor or whatever that you're setting it up to. And that's all you have to do to that side of the reel. Now, as we were looking at with the other reel, it had magnetics in it. And the higher you turn the dial, the higher the number, the more resistance is offered. What there's magnets in there that move closer to the shaft and slow the speed down of the centrifugal force of the spinning of the spool. Now, we've come up with a system here in the last few years, and all of our reels are starting to go to this. There's advantages to the magnets because they stay set all the time. And what happens is that the pressure is there. The disadvantage is that the pressure is there no matter what the conditions are. So what we've come up with is what's called a variable brake system. There are no magnets in this reel. And what happens is that these little counterweights are allowed, there's 6 of them in there. Now I have 2 of them that are out. These are set for myself. And you can take and pop these things in and out as you require them. If you're going into the wind, well, you need more resistance offered, or turn the magnets up a little bit more so that there's more resistance, so it's not going to spin as fast.
So on with that, with this style here, as you bring the counterweight out, it gives you more resistance.
Yeah, and what happens is as the spool is spinning, these things move out. Okay, these 2 here are floating in there. So what happens is they move out and they go against the...
Just like a disc brake?
Just like a disc brake inside.
Do you feel, has it been, since they opened it, under a lot of fishing pressure?
A lot of fishing pressure. There's been an awful lot of traffic on the lake this season with the reopening of walleye. A lot of people are not able to catch the legal ones yet. There's an awful lot that are being returned due to the 20-inch limit, or 20-inch minimum that's required.
Your feeling, so your feeling is really that they should really monitor a bit more? Do you find people taking the...
I think people are taking advantage of the situation. Maybe keeping some of the smaller ones because they can't catch anything legal. It's very hard to monitor a lake this size closely from a ministry standpoint, just due to lack of manpower. But they have been out quite frequently. It's just such a large body of water to check every boat.
Well, we'll see what we can do. One of the key areas you should concentrate, I guess, if you're on a body of water with slot limits, is make sure you have a proper measuring device.
That's correct.
I have a
tape measure or board, definitely.
I have a fish board strictly for measuring fish. Nice looking walleye. Look, because how clear, now that fish won't measure. I like using the rubber net, it doesn't hurt the fish.
Right, it doesn't take their protective coating from them.
But, just for the sake of it, can you hand me that...
Behind my equipment, the blue box?
That fish won't measure, but that's a nice looking fish. Now look how white that fish is. I guess it's because of the water being so clear.
Yeah, oftentimes they're yellow, right?
But this fish will come in at 17 inches. That's 3 inches smaller than you're allowed to keep. Thanks a lot. My number one fishing partner, the greatest partner any person can have, and it's my 4-year-old daughter, Jess. Well, Jess, welcome to today's show.
Well, thank you.
Well, what do you say? You gonna catch some fish today?
Yep.
How many fish you gonna catch?
14.
14. Well, let's say we try catching you some fish.
Okay.
Remember how Daddy showed you how to cast? Let's try see if you can cast out there and catch a fish.
The 15 chasing
You got 15 chasing yours?
Lure. Hey! Come on, fishy. Here he is. Hey, here he comes. Here he comes. Stop throwing. Whoa! What is he?
Smallmouth bass.
Smallmouth bass.
That fish has been hooked before.
Okay, you smallmouth bass.
Yeah. What we're doing is, which we've done in the past, is we're working the edge of a weed. The hatch of smallies in the last couple years, by the signs that we're seeing, has just been fantastic.
Daddy.
And we're just seeing large numbers. So the hatch of the smallies in the last couple of years has just been fantastic on the Ottawa, and it really shows by this spot. We're catching really large numbers of bass, just cast after cast, and it just makes it great for children. You bring a kid out when the action can be like this, and you'll get that kid really hooked on fishing for a long time. There she goes again. Look at this.
Come on. Ooh. Okay.
Oh, did you see the 3-pounder that was beside them? Look at it, it's still out there. Come on, just bring it in. There we go.
What is it?
Smallmouth bass.
I'm getting a lot of smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
Hey, let me feel.
Hold on. They're feeding on really, Jess.
Good.
If you can just see inside, I don't know if you can pick it out in there, but see the size of the minnows they're feeding on.
I feel it.
There you go, you set the hook. Got her, girl. Is it a big one?
Yep. He's a big guy. He's flashing so good.
Come on, you can do it. It's a big one. Come on, you can do it real. Daddy, oh.
Lower your tip, sweetie.
There he is. Oh, yeah, nice bass, Jess.
Bring him into the boat. Like Steve.
There we go. There's a nice dandy smallie.
That's not
Now see what we mean about how clean these fish are? And like we're in the schools right now of bass, without a lie. One bass is on and 3 or 4 are trying to pull it out of the other bass's mouth. Did ya? Well, cast out and catch another one, sweetie. And there we go. A nice, healthy fish. I've said it before, I can't say it again. Got to get kids out when the fishing is like this and let them enjoy it. There we go. Nice 2.5, 3-pound fish. Another nice, oh, here we go. Cavin's gone into one with a spinnerbait. And what we're doing, we're in a shallow bay with lots of structure. Oh, there you go.
Easy there, big fella.
You can bring it around the other side.
Beauty.
Another quality fish, another 3-pound bass. Good fish. Oh, not that great, but any fish is good. That's a keeper anyway.
I know.
Right by that stump.
Yeah, right at
Now
that
I
stump.
flipped that stump 4 times before that fish hit.
Yeah, a little bit of coax in there, right, Terry?
Yeah. Sometimes it takes, if you've got confidence in a spot, you know, nice little 1.5-pound fish.
He's over 12 inches?
Yeah, that's a nice keeper bass in a tournament.
Yeah.
Take that. There we go.
Beautiful, Terry.
Nice fish. Now Calvin cast it out and had a boil, and I threw in right after him with a rubber, and I got that same fish. Turn around.
Yeah, but I cast it 4 times there in that same spot.
Yeah,
with that-
after you got the boil.
Yeah.
And I cast it in once with the plastic and brought it out. Nice 2-pound fish. There's one.
And the worm man brings it in again. Folks.
And nice little bass.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is, Kev.
Nice.
Good fish. There he comes. One of the advantages, I guess, of using a good line, a 20-pound line such as this, is you can horse them out of the cover.
Beautiful, Terry.
Nice 2.5-pound bass, a little scar there. Well, you wanted to get a pike. It's a nice looking pike. Nice looking pike. Do you need a hand, Mr. Trudeau?
No, sir.
Okay.
I spilled my drink
Well,
again.
you just play with that pike, and I'm going back here and work the structure here for some bass.
Easy there, big guy. Easy there. Easy, easy, easy. I'll let you right back in about 2 minutes. Buddy, just hold on there.
Look at that, he's got a bit of a sore on the side.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the advantages you have over a spinnerbait. You'll tend to pick up more pike than me.
Oh, come on, Terry.
Oh, come on, Cav. But then with a rubber, I can work it a lot slower and let it stay in.
Pike like that's not a good sign for here, ain't it?
Not really.
How's he shine? Not a good shine.
Good time.
Out.
Officer Francis, what is some of the main offenses you run into out here?
Some of the main ones that we're running into is people are still running around with no life jackets, or their life jackets don't meet the standards anymore, and alcohol.
Alcohol is still a major factor.
Yes, it is.
What I guess alcohol-related accidents are still the #1 cause for boating accidents.
Yep. We had a very serious accident 2 years ago, I believe it was, in which alcohol is related, and it's still before the courts right now. I think there's 3 people that were seriously injured in it.
Do you find it's the average fisherman that's the, I would say, the most abuser of it?
It varies. It all depends on the time of the day. Later on during the day, during the supper hours and after, you'll find the just your average fisherman, not your tournament man, but just your average guy. Him and his buddy go out, and they take a 6-pack along with them. And they'll do some fishing and they'll do a little bit of drinking. During the day, you'll have the younger people out running around on their boats, drinking while they're driving and that.
One of the questions I have to ask is, do you know of any regulations coming up towards sea-doers?
As in which way?
Is there, like, to try to make it safer? Like, I notice in a lot of channels and everything, there's speed limits and what have you. And the majority of the boaters comply to that, but these sea-doers seem to take off and go wherever they want.
The sea-doers are all, they're responsible for following the collision regulations and all the other boating regulations and the criminal code. The same as any other boat operator. In the channels and posted speed zones, they are required to follow them. They're required to watch out for their wakes. They're required to be sensible in how they're driving their machines.
Are you finding at all, like I don't mean to pick on sea-doers, but it's just that I know by being out on the water a lot, like if you're out there and you're motoring along the lake and you throw a good wake, If you come across them, they just come booting through your wake, and some of them I feel are kind of reckless.
Almost every weekend that we're out here, we receive numerous complaints about the sea-doers doing exactly things like that, cutting across wakes, cutting across the bow of boats. And we have had at least 1 or 2 sea-doers charged last year and convicted on the criminal code for dangerous operation of a vessel. And a lot of these sea-doers are bordering on charges. And a lot of the other larger pleasure boat owners that have been talking to us and complaining about it have been advised all they have to be able to do is identify the sea-doo with the numbers and the driver and make a complaint to us, and if we feel criminal charges are warranted, we will lay the charges.
Fishing Matters is brought to you in part by Georgia Service Center, Eganville, the #1 tracker dealer in Canada. And also by Western Sign. And also by Stinson Fuels for all your fuel needs. Joining us today is my #1 fishing partner, the greatest partner any person can have, and it's my 4-year-old daughter, Jess. Well, Jess, welcome to today's show.
Well, thank you.
Well, what do you say? You gonna catch some fish today?
Yep.
How many fish you gonna catch?
14.
14. Well, let's say we try catching you some fish.
Okay.
Remember how Daddy showed you how to cast? Let's try see if you can cast out there and catch a fish. Okay, reel in.
There's 15 chasing my
You got 15 chasing yours?
lure. Hey! Come on, fishy. Wanna get it?
Just fish normal, Jess. Don't worry about the camera. One of the key things I find anyways about keeping kids interested is keep them in tune that they want to fish. Don't force it on them, and don't plan long trips with kids. We're fortunate we're in a spot right now where we know there's lots of fish here, and if you can keep the action going, the kids will keep continue to be interested in the fishing. But when you have those days when you're not catching as many, kids get bored real quick. So the key thing is make short trips, make it so they enjoy it, and as they get older, they're going to enjoy the sport even more.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Stop reeling. Whoa! What is he?
Smallmouth bass.
Smallmouth bass.
That fish has been hooked before.
Okay, you smallmouth bass.
Yeah. What we're doing is, which we've done in the past, is we're working the edge of a weed. The hatch of smallies in the last couple years, by the signs that we're seeing, has just been fantastic.
Daddy,
And we're just seeing large numbers.
Daddy, you can
Yes.
set it up. I do have one. Here he goes. It's under the boat.
Oh,
Good.
he got away. Okay.
He took my. Hey, he took my worm.
Yeah,
He was a big guy.
sure.
It's too hard.
So what we're doing today is just using an 1/8 jig with a piece of power bait on it, tip with a piece of worm, and
Take a bite of the service.
casting it out.
I'm hungry.
So the hatch of the smallies in the last couple of years has just been fantastic on the Ottawa, and it really shows by this spot. We're catching really large numbers of bass, just cast after cast, and it just makes it great for children. You bring a kid out when the action can be like this, and you'll get that kid really hooked on fishing for a long time. There she goes again. Look at this.
Come on. Ooh. Okay.
Oh, did you see the 3-pounder that was beside them? Look at it, still out there. Come on, Jess, bring it in. Atta girl.
What is it?
Smallmouth bass.
I'm getting a lot of smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
Hey, let me feel.
Hold on. They're feeding on really, Jess,
Good.
if you can just see inside her. Okay, they're feeding on really tiny minnows. And look at that, that one's got one in its stomach, but yet it still hit her bait. The fish are really aggressive, and they've been aggressive for about 3 days now.
Take my other worm. Hey, take the lure. Like, Dad!
Keep reeling. Okay, lift them up to Dad. Daddy, take them off for you. Easy. Oh. Uh-oh. Nice job, Jess.
Sorry, Dad.
That's all right. It's sort of Daddy's fault for leaving his rod over the edge.
Mm-hmm. I feel it.
There you go. You set the hook. Got her, girl. Is it a big one?
Yep. He's a big guy. What? He's flashing so good. I'm in the water. He's good. Getting rough. It's a sun.
No. It's a smallmouth bass.
A smallmouth bass.
Come on. You can do it. It's a big one. Come on. You can do it real. Daddy, oh.
Lower your tips, sweetie.
There he is. Oh, yeah. Nice bass, Jess.
Bring him into the boat. Like Steve.
There we go. There's a nice dandy smallie.
That's not
Now see
dangerous.
what we mean about how clean these fish are? And like we're in the schools right now of bass, without a lie. One bass is on and 3 or 4 are trying to pull it out of the other bass's mouth.
Fish.
Did ya? Well, cast out and catch another one, sweetie. And there we go. A nice, healthy fish. I've said it before, I can't say it again. Gotta get kids out when the fishing is like this and let them enjoy it.
I'm reeling in because I want to get that fishy again. I want to get a fishy. I'm going to drop down. We're up now.
And can you see all the other ones coming up?
Oh, one was right on mine. Almost right on mine. Oh, I got one.
Oh, you had a nice one there, Jess. Fish are starting to get a little bigger.
Ah!
What I've gone to is just a little marabou jig. They're just pounding everything in. So I just, you know, an 1/8 ounce marabou jig with a piece of power grub tail on it. There, oh, Jess is into another one. Oh, you got away. And you got your worm.
Gotta set your hook there, Jess.
Gotta hit her a little harder when that fish bites. Bring it here, Daddy, put a worm on for you.
That one's a stupid fish.
Is it? Why?
Because that was so bad.
It was so bad, was it?
Yeah, it took my lure.
He took your worm, did he?
Look! Let's get that.
What? That's our marker to let us know where to stay on the fish. Okay.
Thank you. Reel in a bit.
Oh, there they go. They're just pounding it. Look at this. Right beside the boat here.
Dad, you're sitting in my seat. Daddy, you're sitting in my seat.
Sorry, Jeff. Oh, they're so aggressive. They're coming up like 20 fish at once, and all they did is right beside the boat. Right beside the boat is I just took the little jig and just flicked it a couple times and they were on it. But one of the keys...
Oh, big waves!
Yeah, okay.
Get down! Hold on!
It'll fall right down. Keep it going.
There. Drop right down. Well, I want to cast it out.
Well, just try that first. There, you got one. Set the hook. Pull up. A little better fish. Oh, he got off.
Ooh, you could do it.
Look at that. I know. I know. Just drop it right down, Jess. That's what Daddy's doing.
No, I want to cast it
Okay,
out.
you can cast. If you want to cast, sweetie, you do whatever you want. Daddy's going to try something a little different here.
Do you like this, Jess?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, eh?
Lots of fun.
Do you like going fishing with Dad?
Because sometimes you didn't take me here.
No.
Sometimes you do. I will read. Fix my lure.
Pardon me?
Fix my lure, please. Good night, baby. Fishy. 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 There, look.
Yeah, okay. Here, come here. Careful.
A different line.
Daddy's into a fish. Here, swimming with it.
This one's better.
Ooh, feels pretty good.
Oh, we're at the
No,
church.
just a little guy. There's the little guy, hot and heavy. It's just totally amazing. Look at this, all around her lure. Just jig it up and down a bit there, sweetie, and make it wiggle. That's it.
Oh, it's dancing.
Yeah. You make your lure dance, and it makes the fish want to bite it. Okay, let your line out. Drop it down, right down to the bottom. Keep going. Keep going, right down. No, press your button, sweetie.
Okay.
Okay, now lift it up a bit. Is he there? That one?
I want to cast one.
Okay, you can cast. You do whatever you want, sweet.
Yeah.
Today is your day. Your day to catch fish.
Oh, I got one! Keep off. Stupid. Hey, fishy. I'm gonna dance so the fishy can bait. Woo!
A lot of people have said in the last little while that fish stocks are down. And I honestly don't feel that's the case. I think it's the case that our intensity of sun has changed. It's forced the fish deeper into the weeds, the larger fish anyways. The smaller ones, they have to feed more often. And just a spot like this goes to show you just how numerous the smaller fish are. A lot of people's concerns are the fact that the larger fish aren't there around. Now, we've had a couple good bass that's been in amongst the school with us, and they're there. You just have to work at them to catch them.
Right there?
Yeah.
Good. I'll just keep on reeling so I can get a fish. Doodle, doodle. Here comes the fishy. I'm gonna dance.
So what you do is you let it fall, right? Let it fall. And when you feel the fish, just look. When you feel the fish, you wind up, wind up, wind up, and then you pop up your rod once. When you feel the fish bite.
I didn't cast it very well.
Well, try again then. Get it in the spot you want to get.
I'm gonna get into cigarette stuff.
In the secret stuff?
Yeah.
Look at right there, Jess.
Cast out there if you can. See the fish jumping?
Okay, fishy. Here I come.
Nice cast. Nice cast. Well, they've stopped feeding on the surface. Okay, set the hook. There you go. Oh, you got away. Didn't set it hard enough.
I did.
Okay, slow down.
I went like
You got a bite, I think.
that.
Jas, don't do that with your rod, please.
I didn't do it. I didn't.
Reel it in some, Jess.
What's the matter? Do you want to go home?
I'm not getting fish.
You're not reeling it in?
You're not reeling in. They're right beside us. They're playing with your fishing line. Slow down.
Playing with my fishing rod?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's time we do a little bit of a move. Daddy caught a perch.
Yeah, cute. Let me feel. It feels hard. I want to catch one of those.
Well, you got to keep trying.
How did I found those?
You just cast out and I let my line fall down to the bottom. Here, you sit in the seat. Daddy will sit up there.
They're just standing.
Nice cast.
Dad,
Um,
I'm letting it sink to the bottom. I'm hungry. I'm not getting any fish.
okay, well, we'll move. Move to a new spot. I think Daddy's got to change her. Put a different grub on. I think that one's a little too big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's change.
That's for a bigger fishies.
That's for a bigger fishies, yeah. And out on the Ottawa, while the smallies are hitting hard and heavy, you can jig up a catfish too.
See those whiskers? They could bite you.
No, it's not the whiskers that bite, it's the fins. They got a little barb. I need the pliers there. Well, as quick as the fish turned on, they turned off, but we had a big boil of a fair-sized muskie, so there's no wonder. So we're gonna move out of this spot while he's around and see Mr. Muskie. See if we can't find him up along the edge of the weeds.
There's no things of weeds.
Yeah.
But it's just to put on grass.
Yeah. Do you like going fishing out in the boat, Jess?
Yeah.
You like ice fishing too, don't you?
Yeah. And when you get cold, you can go in our house. $15.
There's one.
They're about 15 hours.
Decent fish too. Oh,
My fish one?
broke me off, broke me off. Starting to
But
come.
you're just going to pack of weeds.
Yeah, we're coming into the weeds too.
Daddy,
Yes, Jess.
you move, please. You move, please, Daddy. Look how far it is.
Nice cast.
Way over there.
Well, Jess, did you have a lot of fun today?
Yeah.
Yeah? You like going fishing?
Yeah.
You caught lots of fish.
Yeah.
How many fish did you catch?
14.
14. Well, you heard that. She caught 14. Well, it's getting late in the day and it's an awful warm day. We brought our cooler, but I think maybe it's time to go back to the dock and maybe go for a swim and sort of cool ourselves off. One of the key things is, I said earlier, is when you're fishing with young kids, they get bored real quick. The fish have turned off now. We're not getting the bites. Jess is ready to call it quits, eh? And go for a swim.
Yeah, where's my bathing suit?
It's at home. We'll go home and get it. And once again, folks, don't force it onto the kids. It'll come natural. Jess has been fishing from day one, so I'm pretty fortunate that we get to spend a lot of quality time together fishing. We ice fish together. We get out in the boat as much as possible. We fish from shore. In the spring of the year, when the perch are biting, we go out and we catch lots of perch and catfish and all kinds of fish. And Jess enjoys being involved in the cleaning of the fish and the cooking of the fish. You helped Daddy cook some fish last night, didn't you? Well, that's it for today. So I think what we're gonna do is head back to the dock and get out of the sun and get cooled down. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and Jess, I really enjoyed having you on today.